Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Bronte here. I'm going to just allow a few moments to let people jump online. And I want to know who's on. If you guys can give me a thumbs up to let me know that you are here. I can't see everyone that jumps in. And then if you're watching the repost, just do hashtag repost or rewatch. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about how to optimize your outdoor adventures, or maybe it's just a workout. And so I'm going to be diving into how to pack foods efficiently for those outdoor adventures, especially since we're getting ready for those outdoor hikes. It snowed here in Montana. It's still snowing today, but hopefully it will melt soon and we can be in the mountains. Especially with the social isolation, it's good to get outdoors and have distance from people as much as possible. So I'm very excited and I hope you guys are too. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to put on a full screen here. So give me a moment. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bronte Grooms. I'm a registered dietitian. I am the founder of the company, The Gene Hacker. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Gene Hacker. So what I do is I work with individuals that need a little bit more assistance with getting the solutions that they need. So this is based on science that looks at how food impacts your genes. You can get this information without getting a gene test, but a gene test does give that great tool to really pair with your blood work to see anything that may be going on with your body. Okay. So today we're going to dive into the 5 secrets to thrive. So optimal performance for the outdoors. So the first, we're going to go over the secret to speedy recovery. Second is the secret to excel your performance. And third is the secret to create a workout meal plan that no one is talking about. So the first two, the secret to speedy recovery and secret to excel performance, kind of go hand in hand, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into why those go hand in hand. But really it has a lot to do with nutrition. Somewhat has to do with, of course, taking that downtime. Maybe it could be those cold plunges, but the biggest factor is going to be with nutrition. So this is why it's super important to talk about why foods and nutrition are really helpful for your outdoor adventures. Why it's important is because recovering quickly from exercise is the #1 goal of many top athletes for a good reason. So the faster you can recover, the closer you can have your workouts, the quicker the athlete is most likely to improve. So it's not just important for athletes, it's also important for individuals that are just the weekend warriors, or maybe it's even sedentary people. It could even be for individuals that go to the gym and work out weekly. It just allows us to recover quickly, and therefore we're using less energy that we might use otherwise to recover from any exercise or stress, and allows that immunity and hormone system to give a break and remain healthy, right? And most importantly, it helps with less inflammation. So inflammation is necessary in some factors. Inflammation can be necessary for a workout, or if you have an injury, or you become sick, right? So inflammation is needed for those short terms. However, a lot of us do get inflamed, and we're not turning that inflammation response off. So inflammation that is happening consistently can really cause a cascade of events. And we know that chronic diseases has been a major factor of inflammation, but inflammation can impact different things such as our mood, anxiety and depression. It can also impact just our overall feeling of the day. So it doesn't just impact, of course, like diseases and things like that, but it also can affect how we're feeling. So this is why recovery is so important, because it helps with reducing that inflammation as the biggest factor there. So we want to eat to compete. So most people don't fuel properly because of time constraints, or maybe because of the altitude changes, you're feeling a little bit less hungry. And so I want to ask you guys the question, do you guys show up for exercise but not for meals? I want you guys to give me a yes or a no on that. And so, first secret, the nutrients we need for recovery. We need a combination of protein, essential fatty acids, enzymes, probiotics, antioxidants, and an array of vitamins and minerals. So there are certain essential nutrients that are needed for recovery. So essential nutrients are going to be those ones that help with lowering inflammation. So cruciferous vegetables, think of your brassica families, the cabbage family, broccoli, kale, bok choy, arugula, radishes. Wasabi is also a cruciferous vegetable. So if you love sushi, make sure you have that wasabi. And then foods containing quercetin. So those are going to be your allium families. And then also foods that contain quercetin are also going to be elderberries, radishes, your capers, and some apples, of course, but they're going to be smaller amounts. But your alliums are going to be the biggest source. And then curcumin, so that comes from turmeric. And I'm just going to read this comment real quick. I can't accept use without eating at least a little something first. Yogurt, banana, nuts, usually. So do you mean you can't exercise before eating first? Is that what you mean? If so, yes, there are some people that have to eat first before exercising. Oh, use without exercising. Yeah. So yeah, that is going to be important for some people, but of course, I'm going to kind of go through and kind of show you why you don't necessarily have to eat, but yes, some individuals do need to. Yeah, you have to eat first. Okay. So secret number 2, recovery starts before the post-workout meal. So recovery actually is going to be most important during your exercise. And of course, this is going to vary depending on the type of exercise that you do. So if your exercise is exceeding 2 hours or more, you want to consume nutrients every 25 minutes. So when I say you need to consume nutrients every 25 minutes, that's not necessarily going to mean you need to have a snack or a meal in the whole food form. It can come in the form of sports drinks or gels, energy bars. So you could kind of play around there, but you need to at least be consistent with that. And so I want to ask you guys, do you know the reason behind cramps and muscle spasms? I know a lot of times people have that during workouts. Maybe they have it even afterwards, or maybe they have muscle soreness too the day after, or maybe 2 days after. Does anyone know why? Dehydration. Yeah, it could be dehydration, but it can also be overhydration. So if you're having overhydration, what I'm saying is that you're only drinking water. So if you're only drinking water, you're not having those sport drinks with electrolytes, you can actually be flushing out a lot of electrolytes with those fluids. So you want to make sure that you're replenishing those electrolytes. So talking about sport drinks and dried fruits, and even sport gels. So first I want to talk about how when you are exercising, especially when you are going on long hikes, or maybe you're doing backcountry skiing, right? You're gonna have those low blood sugars because you're rapidly using those glucose or glycogen for exercise, which can actually slow our reaction time. So you may be feeling of irritability, you're fatigued, you don't really have that ability to respond to an event of accident. So that's why it's super important to make sure that we're incorporating either those sports drinks or those sports gels, right? So they contain those high amounts of carbohydrates that can help us fuel quickly and get that glucose into our systems fast. So sports drinks are going to be more necessary for those electrolytes, but they do have some carbohydrates too. And sports drinks can really help provide the electrolytes lost in sweating. But when we typically see sports drinks on the market, a lot of the ones that we even see advertised, those are going to be a lot more sweeter than our body's desire. So something that's good to know is actually when we are in an intense exercise that our food preferences change. Our flavor receptors actually like those bitter, sour flavors more than the sweeter flavors. So that's kind of interesting, right? That we actually don't desire those sweet flavored beverages. And so because of that, we're going to not like those drinks that are advertised. So they're more marketed towards the average person that doesn't exercise, and their biggest concern is to taste good. Okay, and then my question to you is, do you guys know what 2 ingredients naturally contain high amounts of electrolytes that you can make your own sport drinks with? Give you guys a moment to guess. Well, if you guys didn't know, that coconut and actually seaweed contain high amounts of electrolytes that you can actually make your own sports drinks with. So that's something that's super cool to know. If you ever want to make your own, you can just use either lime and lemon mixed with some dates and seaweed, or you can use coconut water, and that will give you those sorts of electrolytes without having to get the added sugars from your sports drinks you find at the store. And so the combination of glucose and fructose-rich foods are excellent in a quick source of recovery. So think of dates that have the glucose, and then fructose-rich are going to be your agave nectar. So make sure to include those, whether in your sports gel, you can just combine that with coconut oil, or in your drinks as well. And then you want to make sure during exercise that it's heavily on carbs, because while protein and fat provides the rest, but you don't want it necessarily to be most of your source of energy. It's going to be really hard to digest that while you're exercising, especially fat and fiber. Those are going to be really difficult on your digest system. So make sure that they are very simple carbohydrates. Okay. So this is just some pictures of an example of where you want to be when you fuel yourself. You want to be able to push yourself and make the difference to make to that mountain peak, right? Or maybe it's just something quickly, like a high intensity performance. So for example, that's me dancing, right? I used to be a competitive dancer, and that's what I did for many years. I now hike in Glacier National Park. I climb peaks. So you want to make sure that you can push yourself to the limit. So making sure that you fuel yourself properly is really going to help you get there. And not only that, but actually get you back to that trailhead and make you be able to walk to your car safely. So that is really important. Secret number 3. So how do we excel performance with recalibration? So a secret to actually getting you that advantage to exercise and really push yourself is going to be with caffeine. So you first want to remove the sugar and caffeine from your diet, because your body is adapting to functioning on those higher amounts of energy. So if you're able to remove that, your body's going to be more sensitive to it. And so you can use those to your advantage. So you can even just use dates if you're not a fan of caffeine to give you that kind of kick in the butt to help you excel. So you don't want to do this all the time because you can get burnout. So you want to do this rarely. So some examples are going to be yerba mate. You can also use matcha as well. Those are great sources of caffeine. I'm going to also show some snack ideas. That's going to be using coffee powder. So that's another way too. So secret number 4 is fat is not important for post-workout. So like I mentioned earlier, fats are going to be really hard to digest. So especially after a workout, your glycogen in your muscles are very depleted. And so since they are very depleted, you want to be able to replenish those glycogen stores. So the goal of the post-workout is actually going to be heavily on those simple carbohydrates and of course some protein to repair those muscle tissues. So the first one is going to be simple forms. So whether that's going to be in a drink or if you like pudding or stuff like that, that could be a great way to get those simple carbohydrates. And then the protein later. So you want to get that within the 15 to 30 minute window. There are some people that think that eating 45 minutes after exercise can really help them stimulate that weight loss, but then you see that they're really struggling, right? These people are really struggling with keeping up with their workouts or doing these exercise performance. So you want to make sure to eat within that window there. And then of course you can eat a course again an hour later and incorporate more protein and of course fiber and fats too as it later goes on. And so going back to talking about the different types of fueling, so I didn't really discuss eating before exercise, right? So eating before exercise isn't necessarily the biggest factor or importance here. Of course, it can help individuals and it can help you give you the energy that you need to go a little bit longer, maybe even 40 minutes longer than without eating. But the most important, of course, is going to be during those workouts and after workouts. So you want to make sure you're eating throughout, but you don't necessarily have to eat before exercise if you're not someone that can actually take on a snack or breakfast. So if there is no post-workout fueling, muscle recovery is actually reduced by 45%. So half of your workout is pointless without the fuel. So consider that even when you're just doing a mild exercise, you want to make sure you're getting that good source of fuel afterwards. And if you're wanting to do your own equations to calculate your nutrition needs on your own, this is some calculations that you can use. And so you're going to take your weight, divide it by 2.2, which is going to give you your weight in kilograms. You're going to take that weight in kilograms and times it by 1.2 to 1.5. Your range might vary there depending on what you tolerate, so you may have to play around with that. I would probably shoot for the lower end for now. So that's going to be the amount of carbohydrates that you need. And then weight of kilograms times by 0.4 for protein for the first half hour, and then every hour after the next, for the next 4 hours. So that's some calculations that you can use for your protein needs and how much you need to have to fuel. So that's those protein needs are gonna be really important for repairing the muscle tissue. Here are some snack ideas that you guys can use. So chocolate banana bread with coffee flour. Like I said, that's gonna give you that advantage of having that caffeine, right? So this could be something that you can take with you because banana bread, also make sure that it's white flour if you do have banana bread because it doesn't have fiber in it, right? So if you want to look up a recipe that can be helpful for you, do-it-yourself trail mix, banana chips, dried fruit, macadamia nuts, almonds, chocolate chips, coconut flakes. So again, you want it to be heavily on the dried fruit part more than the nuts and protein parts of it, but you can have even dates included in that. That might be a good option. Sometimes I just have some dates with me. Another option is peanut butter, honey, banana sandwich. So white sourdough or white bread. Energy bars with at least 50% of the calories from carbs. So there's Kate's Real Food Bar, Cliff Bar, Builders, or Pro Bars. And I know a lot of you may even want to go for the less processed bars, and so you may opt for something else. If you guys have any other ideas or your favorite bars, please shoot a comment just to give some other people more ideas of what other food bars they can have. And then of course, honey sticks and small stock of your favorite candy bars can work. Turkey roll up with spinach, avocado, shredded carrots, and mayo on your favorite tortilla. Do-it-yourself sport drinks. So like I said, combining dates, also lemon and lime, seaweed, or you could do coconut water. You can always search Google for different types of ideas if you want, or if you need more ideas, I can shoot you an email with some recipes. And then beets and sweets chips, or a breakfast burrito with scrambled eggs and white flour tortilla, and then do-it-yourself sports gel. So my favorite, of course, when I'm actually hiking are just going to be making an electrolyte drink and a sports gel, so that way I can kind of eat it on the go. The other type of foods may be when I'm actually taking a break. So secret number 5, so here's the meal plan breakdown when you're going on outdoor adventures. So it's going to be broken down in the level of intensity. So level 1 is going to be your high intensity activity. So that's lasting at least 1 hour or less. So whether that's in the gym, going for a run, maybe a trail run, or if you're like me, you like to dance, something like that. So before, you can do fuel bites with yerba mate or matcha powder. And then during that exercise, of course, a sport drink. So this is going to be your high intensity activity. So even HIIT kind of exercise here. If you are lifting, this wouldn't really be considered in this category, but of course, depending on how you lift, if you lift really heavy, this could be important. But the sports drink isn't as necessary if you don't really sweat out those electrolytes. And then level 2 would be your moderate intensity, lasting up to 3 hours. So before, energy pudding with yerba mate or matcha, and then raw energy bars, and then making sure you're fueling during that exercise. So sports drinks, energy gels, or fuel bites. And then level 3 would be your lower intensity, lasting over 3 hours. So before you do, you may need something to eat. So banana pancakes are really good. You can actually incorporate protein powder into that if you need, just to get that protein before going. And I would have that at least an hour before exercise, maybe, a little bit longer if you need. And then sports drink, energy gel with protein, and energy bars during. And of course, with any level, you want to make sure that you recover. So recover with pudding, yogurt drink, a smoothie. Those are just simple ways to get that simple carbohydrates to really replenish that glycogen lost in the muscles. And then of course, you can incorporate more protein afterwards. And then always, always include your cruciferous vegetables. I can't tell you how much important they are. They're really important for lowering down that inflammation response. So they're going to be taming the fires of inflammation, as well as cutting off that response that causes inflammation. Same with alliums as well. And then if you have any questions, if you didn't see the beginning of the video of what those are, just rewatch this and you can get the download of what those foods are. And of course, turmeric can also help too. So I wanted to also talk about anything that if you guys are interested in this, just to bring this up. I've opened one slot for one-on-one coaching with me. So I'm going to be providing, of course, continue to provide freebies on here, but I just wanted to offer you guys some coaching if you guys need it. This is just the values of these here. So it's going to be providing a genomic test, 3 individualized 75 to 90-minute consultations with me for over 3 months. And of course, more is needed. Personalized nutrition program based on your genomic report. So these are going to be really specialized for you and your goals, and then giving you that interpretation of lab results where needed and recommendations of nutrient and lifestyle interventions. I'll always have text and email support and weekly handouts, guides, recipes. So that's the value of those there. And of course, access to the Gene Hacker course. So it's a total value of $5,000. I know this is pretty high for you guys, but some of you may be interested in this. So I just wanted to put it out there if you guys are. And it's going to be for the price of $3,000. Or if you're ready to say yes right now in the comments, you can actually get it for a discounted price of $2,500. So I just want to give you guys that option there if you guys are interested. This isn't something that I'm pushing towards exactly to you, but I just want to give you that option. And of course, if you guys are wanting a free kitchen hacks guide, I left a link in the bio for you as well. So that just gives you what are the essential nutrients for your kitchen and how to properly store them and the benefits of those. So I wanted to thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys are ready to jump into the season, jump into the adventures, and if you're ready to jump into a new lifestyle with me, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much.